You're from Canada, yes.
Yeah, I grew up like an hour outside of Vancouver.
So are you excited to be the 51st state?
Oh yeah, the 51st state stuff. Every time I see that, I go, it's like, I can't believe like it's prime time level trolling. It's like some of the highest possible trolling you can do. But the thing about a troll is like you can't keep falling for it. If you keep falling, like the amount of headlines and the amount of like discourse that's like created, like I'm just like, just ignore it. But people get like worked up, dude.
Dude, it's amazing. I know.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Like one, it's way. I mean, I feel like I'm stating the obvious, but it's way too big to be one state.
Yeah.
Like to have it just be the 51st is just mind-boggling.
But it would, but population wise, like if we're really like breaking down what this would be, population wise, it wouldn't be that crazy. Like, well, I think the population of Canada is like around like 38 million, somewhere in that
Is it
range.
really?
Yeah, it's not that many people. So it's like the same as like California or something like that.
Yeah,
so, yeah. Population wise, it wouldn't be that crazy of a thing. I even saw like some news network was like, oh, if they bring in Canada, it's going to be all these left leaning voters. It's actually going to swing. They're not actually going to do it, dude. It's not an actual thing.
I know, it's amazing. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I kind of hope it happens, and in some ways, why not? But I do say, I like the Canadian national anthem more than I like ours, which is probably not a great thing to say.
I wonder who's got like the most banging national anthem, because I would need to go through them to see who's really rocking one.
Look, I don't know if it's still theirs because things have changed.
Yeah,
but I remember watching like Rocky IV,
yeah,
and the Soviet Union. That one, that's a good one.
A good one, dude.
Yeah,
did you hear that people were like getting sent to gulags for watching Rocky IV? Like it was like an outlawed movie over there. I mean, this is every fact I have is someone told me in passing, and I went, that is 100% a true thing that I will repeat for the rest of my life.
Oh yeah, that's my job.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. God, also makes sense. I mean, Ivan Drago gets the shit beat out of him, which never would have happened in real life. I mean, he killed fucking Apollo Creed with a body shot.
Exactly. I mean, and it also is like it's set up like the like an American comes and kind of like we're all gonna come together. It's like embracing American values and stuff like that. But apparently that movie was super popular over there, but it was like outlawed and people were getting like bootleg copies and you could get like sent to jail for it. Yeah.
That is wild. I mean, for all the things to get sent to a gulag for, I think that's a good one, actually.
Yeah, Rocky IV.
That'd be one I'd be proud
of. Dude. Rocky IV is so good.
It's the greatest soundtrack in movie history.
Well, I would have to go back and listen. I don't remember the soundtrack.
Oh, man. There's like there's the one where Apollo dies and Sylvester Stallone gets in the car and he's just driving because he's so angry. You have to drive because you're sad.
Yeah.
And it's like this song, like Hearts on Fire or some shit like that. And you just listen to it, you're like, God damn, this makes me want to run my head through a wall, but in a good way.
He's dead, dude. He's dead. That the length that franchise has lived on, because they did the 5 Rocky movies, which no one was doing 5 movies, and to do like, because now you do like, if you're doing a trilogy, the 4th one almost is always bad, never lives up. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4 is like maybe the best one.
It's like, the best. 100%.
So like 1 and 2 are ripping. 3 is like whatever. 4 is so good. 5, I don't think anyone cares about. And then you come back and you do the Balboa movies. What did you did? 2 Balboa movies?
I think it's just 1. I think it's just Rocky Balboa. Yeah, in 06, where he fights Mason Dixon, which is hilarious also. But that's the one where he gives the great speech to his son. And
it's like, he's the loser speech. Getting back up and doing it again. Which you hear,
we all do that. Yeah, he does that. I mean, my Sylvester Stallone's not so great. But, neither is his, actually. But yeah.
And then you get the Creed movies after.
Yeah, there's 3 Creed movies, I think. Yeah.
So you get 9 movies out of this stuff that's juicy and all follows one timeline. And there's no reboots in them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You kind of introduce new characters, but that's still, it's still Rocky. I mean, even Creed has, Rocky. Yeah, those and the Creed movies are great. Like you haven't seen any of them?
No, I haven't seen any of the Creed
movies. Well, I haven't seen the 3rd one, so I shouldn't say the 3rd one's good. But the first 2 are fucking amazing. I was very surprised. Like I was watching, I was like, these movies are gonna suck. Like it's they're just milking it. And then I watched, I was like, God damn, these are pretty good.
These are ripping, dude. They brought it back for a reason. I'm pumped for that the movie with the same dude. Who's the guy in Creed?
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. He has that like vampire movie that's coming out.
Yes.
That I'm like, I like taking something that we all understand, a very traditional thing like vampires, like fantasy, like whatever, sci-fi, and how do we like turn it on its head just ever so slightly? How do we put it in a little bit more of an interesting scenario?
Yes.
Like that. I love stuff like that.
That's why I loved World War Z. I love that movie. And it's kind of the same. I mean, even just adding a massive A-list actor into a horror movie is the greatest thing. I love it when it happens because it rarely ever happens. You usually have some pretty good actors, but Brad Pitt in a zombie movie. I'm sold just from that. Yeah, so that movie's fucking phenomenal as well.
100%.
Mel Brooks's kid wrote it, which is
is that
amazing. Who? Yeah, Max Brooks. He wrote the book World War Z, and that's Mel Brooks's son, which is kind of weird, but
I've heard that the book it rips too.
The book is great. Yeah, it reads like you're reading just a series of news reports. And so they just took a couple of those sections of the book and turned it into that movie. Yeah. That's man. Brad Pitt with long hair. That'll do something for you. I don't know.
Dude. Mel Brooks, comedy icon. Love his stuff.
Oh, same. What's your favorite Mel Brooks movie?
Maybe Blazing Saddles. That's probably like, I feel maybe that's kind of a hack choice, but yeah, he rips, dude.
Your favorite's your favorite. Yeah. Young Frankenstein's mine, but Blazing Saddles is up there too. He's I mean, Spaceballs is so good.
Spaceballs does rip, dude.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't feel like we get a lot of movies like that anymore that are just like straight up satire in a way. Like the last era of like really good satire movies was probably like the Scary Movie movies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I don't think we really get a lot of good comedies in general, movie wise. I think that's
no.
Yeah, I think that's kind of gone because people, I mean, maybe not, but I feel like it's mostly people are just afraid to push any kind of button in a movie, which you have to do to make a funny movie. I mean,
I think you're
slapstick really because that's gone. The Jim Carrey, Chris Farley kind of thing. Like people would just think it's too stupid. Like
I think that stuff will come back. Like as stuff fades away, like when something gets oversaturated, then it's like too much, and then it goes away. Culture changes. But we're definitely going through a cultural shift right now where people are kind of lifting some of the restrictions they were doing content wise. And comedy is still like, I think comedy is thriving better than it ever has before.
Oh, without a doubt.
Online, like if you like, there's like guys like Friday Beers and like a bunch of other like sketch groups that are making like those guys. This is a bad idea. Like there's people who are pushing the boundaries in what you can create in a comedy format, but just not doing it in movies. But I think the movie shift will come back, especially because you're seeing this like bloating in the film industry where you like these giant multi-million-dollar productions like the last Indiana Jones movie, like they're not making money anymore. Those things are flopping, and so then the shift is always let's make horror and comedy because those are cheap and they rake in money for how much you spend.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what's interesting is that you would think that they would never have shied away from comedy because the return on investment is so good.
Yeah.
But I guess so many people, in the outrage, a lot of it's kind of blown out of proportion, I think.
Of course, yeah.
But still, I think, so many studios are like, we're not fucking touching this.
Yeah.
But which I guess is understandable, but it's just frustrating.
It's the job of a studio and a producer and these people isn't to take risks. It's for them to like play stuff safe, and it's the job of the creative to take the risks. And then the studio loves, and when the risk pays off, they go, I always supported his vision. Like that is just the natural. If once you can like accept that that's the thing, then you can let that progress happen. But I do think we're gonna see an uptick in it. When? Who knows? It's gonna take like one really juicy, like Seth Rogen-esque type comedy to come back into the fray that really like speaks to a generation, like a super bad type of comedy. And
100%.
Like you're seeing it in stand-up with like guys like Shane Gillis. Like Shane is like huge, not just because Shane's absolutely incredibly funny. Like Shane is the greatest at doing what he does, but there also was a starving of that market. There was a starving of like bro-centric humor. And then this guy comes along who is like a generational talent, one of the best to ever do it. Maybe will go down as the best to ever do it, and also is feeding that audience, it's like, yeah, okay, people are eating it up.
Yes, there's a handful of people in comedy that fit into that. There's like Dan Soder, I think, is kind of in that, which I think he's like, I think Son of a Gary is probably, just in my opinion, the greatest special of all time.
Okay,
I think it's so goddamn good. Like laughs per minute, if you you know kind of measure that. Like, and Shane Gill's up there too. But like, there is this group that easily could be doing stuff like this, like, because that is a big part of like comedy, of film wise, is seeing the same people in the same movies. So you get the feeling, oh, these guys are friends and they make movies together. Like that was the Happy Madison thing, and then Seth Rogen, like Judd Apatow's Umbrella. But there's so many of those in comedy, I think, where it's like, well, why y'all should be making movies.
Yeah, and I think you'll see. It might mean Shane might be the guy to do it, because you're seeing with Tires, like Tires is him and his boys making some funny content.
Yes.
And Tires is a hilarious show that is pushing the envelope in what you're allowed to say, and is super successful. So like it's just the natural ebb and flow of thing. Like I think we're going. My prediction for this next decade that we're going into, a comic said something really good to me, but they're like, decades change on the 5, like what defines the decade. Like if you look at like 1981, it looks like the 70s. You would, if I showed you a picture of someone from that time or some media that was made around that time, it wouldn't be what is like the defining features of that decade. So we're getting close to like what will define this decade media wise, and I think it's going to be something that's akin to the 80s, where in the 70s you had a big a social movement, and people were, the focus was like, let's make change, let's be better people, let's a lot of like protesting and movements like that. And then you get into the 80s and it's a lot of people being like, I don't care, like we don't care. Like punk music is like, we don't care, we just like fuck the establishment. Media just became like entertainment first. You have movies like Scarface, and then you have like workout stuff where it's like very like hot and sexualized.
Yeah, and the Jane Fonda shit and like
stuff like that. There, I remember watching the American Gladiator documentary, and
amazing,
so good.
So good.
And in it, they show people like pitching the American Gladiator show at one of those big conferences they would have, and the show that everyone thought people were going to pick up was this roller derby show. They go like, oh, this is going to be the next show, and it was just like girls in like bikini-esque clothes, roller derbying and smashing into each other. And one of the producers is a clip of him going, yeah, this isn't going to win a Pulitzer, but we're going to make some damn good television. And I think that's what we're moving into, where we're going. People aren't going to care about if it offends someone. They're like, entertainment first. We're going back to making entertainment,
which is what I want in TV. Movies. Like I will read, Dostoevsky if I want to get, if I want to feel smart or feel like I'm getting something to, help my brain. But I would much rather watch American Gladiators.
Yeah. Well, they're different types of things, and sectioning stuff back into where it belongs. Like I don't want my Marvel movies to preach to me. These are dumb superhero movies, and like we're only getting so much done in this space. We're all here just to kind of have a good time and see something explode. But like if I want to educate myself on social politics and these certain things, I'll go into those directions and find those things, and they'll be taught to me by people who are masters in those fields, not actors who have spent their years acting and think their opinions are bigger than someone who has spent their time educating their life about that.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm 100% with you. Because people will ask me, because I am a bit of a movie buff in some ways, whatever. And so I get asked all the time, like, what's like your favorite type of movie? I like movies that don't bore me. If I'm bored, I don't like it. And it's not even a genre specific. Like if I'm watching a comedy and 30 minutes in, I'm bored, I don't like this movie.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter if it's, revered. Like there's plenty, like I hate Woody Allen movies because to me they're boring as hell. And I understand he's one of the most, his movies are revered and blah blah blah, but I would much rather watch Stripes. Like
Which
something
one's
that
Stripes. I don't know Stripes.
Oh, Stripes is the one with Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, and John Candy, where they go into the army. It is horrible. I mean, it's funny though. Like it's dumb. It's like Caddyshack, but with the army. Like,
okay.
Like that's
that era of comedy. Yeah,
exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, it was like late 70s, early 80s. It's like Caddyshack and what else? There was another like Blues Brothers, like around that time.
Yes,
but yeah, I'd rather watch those. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Like
no, some of my favorite movies are like one of my favorite movie watching experiences of all time was Mortal Kombat 2019. It was during COVID, so me and my buddy were we're locked in. I was in Toronto. Toronto had like twice as long of a lockdown than you guys.
Yeah.
So we were inside, and I remember we're watching this movie just in my place. Like, I had this like big, huge TV, and we're high, and we had to keep taking breaks to laugh at how shitty the movie was. Like, there's so many dumb things. Like, the main character's like a cage fighter, but like shitty, so he's like at an amateur level, and then he's in the change room after getting beat up, and he's like, they're like, why don't you get a real coach in your corner? And he has his like 13-year-old daughter like cornering him. He's like, I only let my daughter corner me. It's like, you only let your daughter watch you get the shit beat out of you? What a traumatic thing for a child. This is crazy. And then his wife shows up, and he like tongue kisses her. Like, really? I was like, whoa, dude. Like, why is it so horny? Like, the whole movie just has like even when Sub-Zero, he has like his normal name, like Bo Raicho, or like, I know it's not Bo Raicho, but whatever his name is. Yeah. And then out of nowhere, he goes like, actually, my name is Sub-Zero, to like Shao Kahn, who he's been working with for like 400 years. And we're like, oh, well, Shao Kahn was like, okay, we're doing like a brand switch. I like it. This new imagery. It's like, dude, you've been this one guy for 300 years, and now you're Sub-Zero. So much of the movie's dumb, but it's so funny. It was so funny. We're like laughing so hard. We're like, hey, pause, dude, pause. That was, and that's what I look for. I'm like, I just want to have a good time. Yeah.
Same, dude. That's my, like, me and the buddies, every once in a while, we will sit back and we'll just go on like Netflix or whatever and just find the dumbest sounding title. Like, that's what we're watching. We watched a movie a while back called Killer Sofa.
Oh, I like this already.
It's exactly what you think it is. It's this woman gets this like little recliner, and it's possessed by some demon or whatever. Yes. And we were like laughing our asses off for about 30 minutes, and then we're just quiet for another 30 minutes. And I remember thinking, like, I like this movie. Like, this movie's actually good. And so I like finally said something. I was like, do y'all like this? And everyone was like, yeah, dude, this movie's like actually good.
Yeah,
like,
it's actually sick.
And it was like really good. Like, I was like, dude, I want to know like what happened. Like, I was heavily invested into this movie that's called Killer Sofa. And it's just, man, like sometimes you just find these little gems where you're just
100%.
Like, that's
what's one of your top? So you have Stripes. What else is like one of your top guys
for comedies?
Just in general, movie wise.
Oh, favorite movie of all time is Jurassic Park.
Okay, right on.
Obsessed with Jurassic Park. But I love like horror and like thriller, anything with like it's like real specific, anything where someone's being chased. Love it. So like No Country for Old Men. The Fugitive. Stuff like that. And then I love like any movie with where they're trying to catch a serial killer or something.
Okay,
Silence of the Lambs. Zodiac's one of my favorite movies. Love it. And then like Silence of the Lambs, and then there's like all those ones in the 90s and early 2000s, like The Bone Collector with Denzel Washington. It's a good one. Denzel Washington, Angelina Jolie. There's like a bunch of those that came out. Along Came a Spider with Morgan Freeman. Yeah, just love suspense thrillers. That's my thing. What about you?
I think definitely one of my top guys of all time is the Big Lebowski. Big Lebowski is so good. It's so funny and it's so weird, dude. And it's such a strange mystery movie, and every character is so bizarre. Dude. And like just how one thing goes to the next. Jeff Bridges, like when they go to like the landlord's play, and he's doing like some one-man play, and he's wearing that like skin tight suit with like the leaves on it. The whole like running joke of Donnie coming in and not really knowing when to talk, and then he dies in the end, and they're like, dude,
it does from a heart attack.
Yeah, it's so there was no shots fired, dude. Like the whole like I'll get you a tow by 2 p.m. Like there's so much in that movie. John Goodman's character is nuts. I remember just like dying laughing. Oh, the scene that I never forget is when they go to that guy. his name's like Jack Hardwood or Johnny Longwood.
Jackie Treehorn.
Jackie Treehorn. They go to they end up like through a series of events, end up at Jackie Treehorn, who's supposed to be like this like Playboy Mansion kind of figure, a Hugh Hefner. And Jackie Treehorn is talking to the dude, trying to get information about him because the lady owes him money. And Jackie Treehorn takes a phone call, writes something down on a piece of paper, and then leaves. The dude, to like harnessed information, goes over and sort of like does that pencil thing where you sketch over it to see what he wrote, and it's just a picture of a guy with a big dick. And then he's like, what? And he just grabs it and puts it in his pocket, and it's never like explained why that's what he drew down. It's so weird. It's so weird.
It's like his Zorro. Like his
exactly, dude. It's so bizarre, dude. It's so bizarre.
Dude, Jackie Treehorn treats objects like women, man. That's one of the
when
lines.
he's in the back of the car after Jackie Treehorn drugs him, like, dude. And I drink like I love a White Russian too. And that introduced me to the White Russian. Great drink.
God, and he hates the Eagles, which I also hate the Eagles. So every time he says that, I'm like, this is my guy. Walter Sobchak is the greatest movie character of all time. John Goodman.
Yeah,
John Goodman's character. So he's based on a real guy. He's based on that character is based on John Milius, the producer. John Milius produced and directed like Conan the Barbarian, a bunch of like random movies in the 80s. He's also he's just this random movie producer guy. He was pretty big in Hollywood, but he's a fucking nut job, like a full psychopath. He's also the guy that created the octagon for the UFC.
Oh, really?
Like, he's the guy that suggested to Dana White, like, it should be an octagon.
That's correct.
He's like the Forrest Gump of action.
Yeah.
Like, he's just everything you see, you're just like, God damn, this dude was a hand in everything. He wrote Apocalypse Now. Like, really?
That's
just random things where you're like, oh my God, John Milius is he invented Hollywood in a weird way. But that's who the John Goodman character is based on. He's like,
that's wild. I never knew that.
Yeah, dude, it's so good. And Philip Seymour Hoffman's in it, like young Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Dude, we were just talking about there was something that popped up where they're like, oh, he was people are saying he's the greatest actor of the 21st century. Or
I saw that. I thought that was pretty interesting because at first I was like, Philip Seymour Hoffman, like that's kind of weird. But then when you think about it, he was phenomenal in everything he did.
You could put him in anything. Like you could put him in a very serious role. Mm-hmm. He like murdered it in comedies. He he would Boogie Nights. He was like super good. Like he played weird nerd characters. He played very confident dudes. Like he did play the spectrum of everyone. Yes. There's that one really funny meme of his when he's like, "Why do you ask me those questions when you know the answer? Pig fuck." Yeah. I don't even know what movie that's from.
It's from The Master, the movie about L. Ron Hubbard, the Scientology guy.
Yeah.
That's a great movie too. Joaquin Phoenix.
But, I should check that out.
It's so good. It's so weird. But it's based on the guy that created Scientology.
Okay,
L. Ron Hubbard.
That's juicy. Yeah.
Yeah. So which there's a big fucking crazy story with that guy. But obviously. But that's pig fuck. That's one of the greatest insults of all time.
Yeah, pig fuck.
It says just not pig fucker, just pig fuck.
Just and how it escalates. Like, why are you asking? Yes. Like he's just getting fucking worked up. But he was a phenomenal actor. The guy really crushed it, and he was very, very funny, man. Yeah,
there's some of those actors who they die off so early, and you wonder like, man, I wonder what movies that have come out since would they have been in. Like I think about that with him sometimes, or I'll see a movie, I'm like, oh, I bet he would have been in that movie.
Or like he would have killed it.
Because I was watching 10 Things I Hate About You last night, not to brag, but and so they're showing like Heath Ledger, and the whole time I was thinking like, God, I wonder what movies Heath Ledger would have been in. He would have been in so many. Like he'd have been perfect for so many movies.
Oh, for sure,
man. God, he was phenomenal.
One of those dudes who bounced back, who I think is incredible, is Robert Downey Jr. Of course.
Oh yeah,
He, do you game at all? You a gaming guy?
Not really. No, I play a little Assassin's Creed sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, the historical stuff. Yeah,
I love it. Love it. Yeah.
There's a game out right now, Marvel Rivals, which is like a Marvel Overwatch hero game, and every character has all their voice lines, and every character is like their own version. The Iron Man, you're like, oh, he's just doing like discount Robert Downey Jr. Like Robert Downey Jr., it captured that character, which was a fairly like he was a pretty unknown Iron Man. Like he was known to the nerds, but not to the layman. So, but he made him so defined that like even someone like Spider-Man or Batman is played a little bit different every time. Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr. He is, that is his guy. Yeah,
that is interesting. Yeah, there's no other of like the big comic book heroes where that's the case.
No.
Because you could have a different Bruce Banner, Hulk. You could have a different Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. Like, I mean, they have to fit like a certain mold, but not too much. Like, not specific to one actor. Like,
the
Robert Downey
only
Jr.
dude who I think else has done it is Hugh Jackman with Wolverine. That's
very true.
Hugh Jack as Wolverine is like, even when they were doing like the new Deadpool movie, they were like, he's got to put on the suit. We need him to put on the suit. No one else can be Wolverine right now, or maybe be like a slow transition to someone else.
Yeah. It's interesting to look and see who was supposed to, because for any Marvel, DC, whatever, like movie, none of those people are the original people who were supposed to be in them. Yeah. So like Iron Man was supposed to be Tom Cruise, which maybe
would have been maybe a little too serious. He doesn't have the jovial,
that's
fun.
Yeah. And so Wolverine was going to be Glenn Danzig, from the Misfits.
No.
He's at the Rocks. Yeah, the singer.
Isn't he kind of crazy?
Yeah. Yeah, sure is. Yeah. Yes. And if you look like the comics, Wolverine is like real short, muscular, like he actually looks kind of like Glenn Danzig. Like Hugh Jackman's a big son of a bitch, he's like over 6 foot. Like, so it kind of makes sense. But there's a bunch of those. Like Thor was gonna be fucking what's his name? Josh Hartnett.
I don't know who Josh Hartnett is.
Have you ever seen 30 Days a Night?
No.
Or Pearl Harbor, The Faculty.
Pearl Harbor. Faculty, no.
God damn, Halloween H2O.
No.
With LL Cool J.
It's going into the deep cuts now.
Halloween H2O. I'm really scraping the bottom. Sorry, Josh Hartnett. But he was in the newish movie Trap, the M. Night Shyamalan movie. But
is that the one where which one was Trap? Well, that was
when they're in the concert.
The concert.
No, they're at the concert, and it's like a police sting, which is actually, it's pretty decent.
Oh, is it decent?
But it's okay. For the first half is really good, and then the second half, you're just like, all right, well, what the fuck just happened to this? Yeah. But it's just interesting how that like turns out, because it always turns out the right way, like just by some miracle, like the right person plays the right role. And,
Yeah. And if it doesn't take off, right? If it wasn't the right role, we wouldn't even be talking about it. It would have maybe the Iron Man movie would have spawned the MCU. Like if Robert Downey Jr.'s incredible performance as Iron Man is like a key factor in the MCU being as successful as it was.
100%. Yeah, that would not have, like, that whole thing, that empire was based on whether this one guy who hadn't really done anything in a long time. I mean, he had been in some movies, but not anything big. Like, it's like, well, can he handle it?
And I heard that Favreau really fought for him. That Favreau. They were like, they wanted to bring someone else in, and he was like, no, like, we need him. Like, because what I heard is Robert Downey Jr.'s like big skill on set is like improvising. He's very good at just like riffing and being in the moment, and that kind of helped define what that character really is.
Yeah, exactly. Like that, the personality, the Tony Stark personality that you see in the movie is pretty much just Robert Downey Jr. Like it's, and you could kind of tell, like, he's not doing, I mean, he's obviously acting, but it's very based in, just who he is. Yeah. Which, God, to be that confident. He's a confident son of a bitch, and I don't got a shred of that shit.
Well, he was nominated for an Oscar in like his early 30s or something.
For Chaplin, for playing Charlie Chaplin in 1992.
So like when you're coming into a sphere that is like super competitive, like on a field anyone would want to be in, and like before you're even like late into the game, you're already like, you're one of the best. And he's kind of being like, I got this.
He was a superstar like throughout the 80s. I mean, he was in like all these like great movies in the 80s and 90s. Like he was in Natural Born Killers, which is a great movie. I don't know if you've seen that, but
No.
oh, it's so good. It's a Quentin Tarantino script, but directed by Oliver Stone. It's phenomenal. But yeah, he was in that with like Woody Harrelson and Tommy Lee Jones, which I mean, it's I don't know, man. Some people just kind of have it. Like they just have that presence where you're just like, God, this motherfucker is
he's made to do it.
He's so much better than everybody. Like, how is this possible? Yeah. What movie do you think you've seen the most?
Movie I've seen the most. It's probably either a Marvel movie or a Christmas movie if I had to really think about it. It's like those seasonal ones you have on loop. I would like, what's the Christmas movie that we would always go back to? I've seen Elf quite a few times. And
Christmas Vacation was always my favorite Christmas movie.
It might be Superbad. I've Superbad or Step Brothers. Superbad and Step Brothers I watched like so many times in high school. And then as I've gotten older, I've probably watched those movies once every like 2 or 3 years. Mostly Superbad. And Superbad has gotten funnier as I've gotten older. Like that scene where Michael Cera is stuck in the room with all the dudes who are doing coke. When I was a kid, I couldn't quantify what that meant. And then as I got older, I go, this is the fucking funniest thing. Like, dude, I can't even imagine being a 17-year-old trapped in a room with grown men at a party where you don't know anyone and they're all doing coke and they're slapping you in the face being like, sing for us. And they're mistaking you for another guy.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
You've never been in that situation?
No, I have not. I've not been in that situation.
Yeah. I mean, you won't be 17, but you could always, get yourself in that situation.
Well, I think I've been on the other side of it without the 17-year-old in a room with a bunch of strangers doing coke at a party where I don't know anyone. I've been in that situation.
Yeah. So you went to Diddy's house.
Yeah. No, not that famous. Not enough to get invited to a Diddy party.
Fair enough. Yeah. No, I've been in the situation, the Michael Cera situation. I wasn't forced to sing These Eyes or anything, but I've definitely hung out with a friend, and then somehow by the end of the night we end up in about 30 miles away in just some random double wide trailer where things with a bunch of 40-year-olds where things are getting real weird. And I'm like, I just want to go home.
Yeah, we gotta get out of here.
I'm scared. Get out of here, dude. I just want to call my parents. And that's happened a few times.
Sometimes saying yes to the party can be like the greatest experience, and then sometimes you're like, dude, this was a near miss. This was like a near miss, I guess is a good way to put it. Like we almost could have ended up in a horrible situation, and we should never do that again.
Dude, I remember, so we used to go to like a trap house to buy weed. Which was such a great idea for, a 16-year-old white kid who just, doesn't know what he's doing. But me and a friend were going to this neighborhood, like where I'm at. It was a very sketchy part of town where just filled with trap houses. And we couldn't find the trap house we were supposed to look for. And we stopped at this gas station. There was a guy wearing a massive New Orleans Saints jersey, which, I don't know if that's related to anything, but seems to be. And we were like, hey man, do you know where to get to this street that we're looking for? And he's like, what the fuck? Why do y'all want to go there? We're like, he was like, dude, we're just trying to buy some weed. And he was like, man, y'all really don't need to be doing that. Like, I'll take care of you. Like, I'll sell you some weed right now. And he was like super nice, like this just big dude, like very intimidating looking, but super nice. He walked over and he was like, man, like, don't ever come around here. Like,
this is you should not be doing this.
So he was like, y'all just like save my number in y'all's phone. If you ever want weed, like I'll meet y'all somewhere and help y'all out. We're like, oh really? And so he's like, yeah. So we saved his number and we're like, what's your name? And he said his name was Murder. We're like, okay. We're like, thank you, Mr. Murder. Like thank
you, Mr. Murder.
But we could have been in. I just feel like we dodged a massive bullet. And Murder saved us.
Yeah. No, that was a guardian angel in that moment, being like, yo, Murder. Dude.
Yeah. I ran into him at a wedding about 10 years later.
No way.
Swear to God, I was at a friend's wedding and that guy, somebody said Murder. And I was like, what? And turned around and it was him. I was like, oh oh my God. Like,
were you like, do you remember me? Do you remember?
I asked him, he said he kind of did, which he may have just been saying that, but apparently he had been to prison for about 10 years. So that was why we never
saw him again.
Yeah. So murder might not have been it might have been a pretty good fitting nickname for him.
Oh yeah, he was able to embody that. Yeah.
What's the craziest things you've seen on like the streets of New York? Because as someone who's never been, I just imagine it as being like Blade Runner-esque.
No, New York is pretty tame. I mean, like there are certain areas that are rough, but you have to really like dig for them. Like I've heard of like, I think it's called East Manhattan or East New York or something like that. That's supposed to be a really rough area, but that's like way, way, way east of like Brooklyn. Like it's like the most east part of Brooklyn you can go to, I think.
Yeah.
So you have to like go out of your way to get there. I mean, I don't know. I lived in Toronto for a long time. It's definitely dirtier and sketchier than Toronto, but I think like the way everything makes it seem online or like even in the news and everything, the news is just like being salacious and blowing stuff out of proportion. Like it's like if you were like, oh, you go to LA, it seems like there's like homeless people literally like asking you for money as you get off the plane. Like any place I've gone to, it's like, oh, if you go to Texas, you're gonna get like shot on someone's lawn or something like that. Like everything is always on both sides is sensationalized just to get like the most views and eyeballs possible. There's definitely like garbage. It's definitely dirty. There's definitely areas where you go and there's homeless people. One thing I'll say about New York is the homeless people are scattered. I grew up close to Vancouver. Vancouver has a street called Main and Hastings where it's just like, it's like a tent city. And it's just tents and tents and tents, and everyone is like congregated to one area. But yeah, I don't know. New York's fine. Like most cities in America are fine. Obviously there's sketchy places and stuff needs to be patched up, and it would be nice if like healthcare was affordable. But there's problems in every country, and there's problems here too. But I feel like people try to sensationalize some stuff that's going on in certain cities.
Yeah, agreed. As somebody from Texas, there's definitely a feeling that most people get when they think about Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's truth to it for sure, but it's like, what are the chances you're actually going to see this? Like I definitely have seen people walk around with guns, like at a Walmart,
of course,
100%. And it is just as terrifying every time. Mm-hmm. But that's like I've probably seen thousands of people at a Walmart, and I've seen 2 people with a gun. Like,
And it's like I guess the best comparison I could think of. It's like the idea of the dystopian, like liberal city is like just as not true as the dystopian, ultra racist Republican city or conservative city. It's like they're just not. You go to these places and there's just human beings that are living, and most people just want to live. And then I think you get stuff kind of gets blown out of proportion of how radical shit is going on around you. And I travel all over the country. I've been to Naples, Florida, which is like super red. And then I've been to, I don't know, what's like a really, really blue place?
Seattle.
Seattle. Been to Seattle or like Tacoma. I've been all over to all these places, and people come out to the shows, and I appeal to all demos. And I talk to these people after the show, and I shake their hand, and they ask for a picture. And like, these are just people, man. Most people are just people. I think that, I don't know how crazy you get on this, but that Luigi Mangione thing, that showed how aligned most people are. The vast majority, like there's content creators I know on either side of the aisle, and the most of them were like, I get it, I get it, dude.
Yeah, there definitely were. Like the difference would be, you would have somebody like, oh, he shouldn't have shot him because it's murder, blah, blah, blah. And then some people like, fuck him, should have shot him. But everyone still believed we understand it. Like we may not agree that you should just shoot somebody in the street. Yeah. And some people are like, yeah, fuck it, cut his head off. But everybody agrees we get it. Like we get why it happened. And we also were kind of surprised it hasn't already happened a few times. Like, there was not a lot of people feeling sorry for the fella that got shot. It's like,
it's like Dude, it was across the board. It was like a unifier, and that's what I think the real consensus of the human experience is. I think we get caught up in stupid like non-issues that don't ever really affect people's lives.
Yeah.
Whatever political statement is driving you to either side of the aisle that like may never really like for some people it will impact their life, but for a lot of people it's like this is things to like make you a single issue voter and make you inflammatory, but like when we really look at like issues that are affecting the mass population, everyone's kind of aligned. It's like healthcare's fucked up, housing's too expensive, groceries are too expensive, like they're putting weird shit in the food, stop doing that, let's clean up the food, let's fucking stop with the weird pharmaceutical shit, clean up social media, clean up the water, like those are all things that like 99% of the population is going to be like, okay, yeah, we're on board, we're on the same side. We're on the same side.
Yeah, they just have completely or a lot of times have different views on how do we get that to happen.
Yeah.
And that's where the two-party system bullshit kicks in. It's like, well, yeah, we're going to pretend like we're not agreeing on this. So we're just going to focus on the fact that we do disagree on how we get there.
Yes.
Like instead of focusing on the fact that we do agree on,
we gotta get there.
Yeah.
I think a big thing is just like you don't have to like the person you're working with. You don't have to agree with the person you're working with, but you just have to try and get the goal done. I'm a big. You're a history guy. You like? Genghis Khan. I know.
I'm not like a fan, but
not a fan. I find him fascinating.
Yes, very fascinating.
Yeah, and he was a big thing he did was he went to all these different tribes, and then you had like the people of the steppe who were all this infighting, and he went, hey, no, we have one central enemy. Let's get together and let's work on taking that central enemy, and then became the most powerful military force that ever existed. And it's just that idea of like removing that the little tribe mentality and uniting people is like, then it's like, okay, we're all on the same side. Like when he would take over a place, he would let everyone keep their religion because it was easier to take over Europe than to convince a Muslim man to be Christian. It was just like you do your thing, dude. We don't care. That's not what we're trying to change. We're trying to change how we were treated. We're trying to change how we live, and we're trying to take back the power. We don't need you guys fucking squabbling over this stuff that it's not going to help.
Yeah. Which actually, so we really just need a new Genghis Khan.
We need a new Genghis, dude. I like it, dude. My favorite Genghis Khan story is when he was like, he had taken over the three of the four main cities in China, and then he sent an emissary to the Quarthmine Empire, which is like now Iran. And he was like, oh, go there, go do trade with these people. Then the guy killed his emissary, the Shah of this Quarthmine Empire, which I think at the time was the largest empire in the world. It had like the three largest cities in the world. And so the Shah like sends back the head. And Genghis Khan was like, whoa. I'm going to send 3 dudes to go talk to him. And then the Shah didn't. I don't think the Shah killed those guys, but he was like, I'm not doing business with you guys. You guys are barbarians. And then they go back. And then Genghis Khan halts his assault on China, who's been his main enemy since day one. He goes, okay, I'm fucking dealing with this shit personally. Goes all the way down, travels across the fucking continent. Not across the continent, but travels a massive distance to go to the steps of this guy's empire. And he tells him, he goes, okay, Shah, you come out here right now, I'll kill you. Everyone can live, all right? If you don't come out, I'm killing every single person in your entire empire and burning every city to the ground. Which is like it's like such an absurd extreme. It's such an it's like if someone like parked in your parking spot and you're like, "Okay, apologize to me right now. If you don't apologize, I'm going to burn your house down. I'm going to destroy your car. I'm going to like ruin your bloodline. I'm going to get your kids sick with an uncurable disease." Like it's just such two extremes. The Shah, of course, goes, no. He's like, we're the biggest empire. You have no chance. And Genghis Khan goes, okay, and just destroys everything. I think the Shah got away. He like exiled himself to an island and he never got caught. But they burned everything to the ground. They salted the earth. There was one time where one of Genghis Khan's generals, which was one of his sons, was like trying to negotiate with one of the cities, being like, okay, if you guys if you guys give us some of this, we'll keep the city intact. He was basically trying to negotiate to keep the infrastructure of the city so that they could have more empire. Genghis Khan found out about this, demoted him, and then burned the entire city to the ground. Like, he's like, fuck that shit, dude. No half measures. No half measures. We do it all the fucking way, dude.
Oh my God.
He did.
Jesus.
He got shot off his horse by this guy. I think they were fighting in China. He got shot off his horse. His crew, his guys, brought him the guy who shot him off his horse after the battle. And of course, this guy's like, well, Genghis Khan's going to kill me personally for hitting him. He's like, dude, craziest shot ever. No one's ever been able to hit me before. Promoted him to general, saw his talent, was like, you're sick at what you do. Gave him a title of general and nicknamed him Jebe, which means the arrow. Like, that's fucking crazy, dude. The dude was like, he had like an internal like this internal morals, like the value system, and he never strayed from his code. He was like, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, one of the reasons why he was so brutal with the places he invaded was because he's like, this is like Mamba mentality shit. He was like, I'm already your emperor, so you defying me and fighting back is treason. Even though you've never seen me before in your life, I'm already your emperor. You just don't get it yet. You just don't get it yet, dude. And so that's why he's like, well, now you fought, I have to kill you. You've committed treason. They're like, you're not. He's like, no. I am your emperor, dude. I am. You should foresee it.
Oh my God.
He's got a lot of Michael Jordan shit going on, dude.
Yeah. It's those kind of things. Yes, very
Michael Jordan. Yeah. Like, he's like, when that in the Michael Jordan thing, when he's like, someone disrespects him, he's like, that's all it took. And then he's like, I'm gonna destroy your entire empire, dude. Very Michael Jordan mentality.
Yes. Yeah, when the guy, it was like some coach in the restaurant was like, hey, how are you doing, Michael? And he just looks at him, he's like, that motherfucker.
Yeah, he
I'm gonna put
disrespected
60
me.
Points up on this guy.
Yeah. That's he was on the same shit, dude. He killed his own brother. He had like two brothers, and him and his other brother rolled up on his third brother, his oldest brother, and pulled arrows on him. And he's like, "Well, you're really gonna kill me?" Because they stole food. He stole his food. Yeah. He stole the sandwich. So he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll kill you. You don't. I don't get disrespected." He's like, "I don't get fucking disrespected, dude."
It's like Al Capone.
Yeah,
just walk around with a baseball bat, like, what's one of you motherfucker? Yeah,
who wants to try me? Yeah,
God, could you imagine being just be Genghis Khan, like to be in that position? Like, good God, I wouldn't be able to handle it. I'd crumble.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah. There's very few people who can handle it, and he's one of them. He also didn't really have an ego. He was like, no picture. I don't want anyone to make like portraits of me. Yeah, no one's gonna know where I'm buried. He's like, because I don't want to be worshipped.
That story's wild. Yeah. That they had his funeral, and then part of his like basically dying wish is that everyone who's at the funeral has to kill each other so that no one knows where he's buried.
Yeah, and they sent like horses loose so that they ran all over the place and covered up the tracks, so you couldn't go and find. No one knows where his grave is. He's like, dude, didn't have an ego about being the fucking greatest, dude. He's like, whatever. Yeah, I was the greatest. Get over it.
Yeah, like he knew history would prove it.
Yeah,
like he didn't need a monument or you know these things. Like he knew people are the word's gonna get around.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am the greatest.
And he like what was another thing he did? I'm forgetting now. There's too many Genghis Khan stories. Because he didn't want anyone to know where he was buried. What was the other thing? I can't remember.
Dude, there's some good Julius Caesar ones.
I don't know much about him.
Okay, so there's a Julius Caesar one where when he was like pretty young, like teen, he was kidnapped by some like barber or some pirates like off the Barbary coast. Kidnapped, held for ransom, and he ends up, basically just hanging out with the pirates while they're waiting to have the ransom paid. He recommends that they up the ransom amount. Because he's like, do you not know who the fuck I am? Like, he's like, that's all you're asking for.
I'm worth more.
He's like, I'm worth way more than this. So he has the pirates basically send out and say, actually, this is the amount we want. They pay the ransom. The whole time, young Julius Caesar hanging out with these grown ass men pirates, terrifying dudes. And he's telling him, like, I'm going to come back and kill all of you. Like, he's like, you enjoy the money, whatever, but you are all going to be dead as soon as I get back, because they are going to pay the ransom. I'm going to get let go. This is not going to end well for you. I just want you to know that. And they're all laughing, like, this little kid, like, this is hilarious.
Crazy, yeah.
Well, pay the ransom. The ransom gets paid. Julius Caesar goes back. He immediately gets a fleet of ships ready. They go back, and he has all of them crucified.
Oh, Jesus.
Every single one of them. And most of them, crucified. And so they're still alive. Yeah. And he's basically just walking up and down the row of pirates, taunting them, saying, see, told you.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're getting, like, tortured to death. It's
and he's like, yeah, dude, I called it, bro. I called my shot, and this is exactly what happened. Okay, the thing I remember the thing I was going to say, that when you said crucified, it brought it back to me. The Christians thought that Genghis Khan was the second coming, because he was destroying the Muslim empire. If it wasn't for Genghis Khan, we might all speak Arabic. Like, he demolished the Ottoman Empire. That was like Islam and Arabic were like the dominant force, until Genghis Khan came in and was like, no, not today. I'm wiping this out because a guy disrespected me. And I don't get disrespected, dude. I don't get disrespected. So I'm going to change.
He's like Alec Baldwin. He's like, don't point the camera in my face.
Don't point the camera in my face, bro. Yeah. He apparently killed so many people, the planet got colder. He reduced the
carbon emission. Yeah, he reduced the carbon emission of the planet. He's also, like, for people in China, 1 out of 8 people are a direct descendant of him.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the right number, but it might actually be even lower than that. But I mean, just a wild son of a bitch.
Yeah. There's never.
I love those stories, man. I love stories about, like, just antiquity, like ancient history, and just seeing how fucking wild people were.
Yeah.
Like, because obviously we have powerful leaders who have the potential to do wild shit, but, like, they're doing it just at a press of a button, like you send a drone strike and wipe out a bunch of people, or, stuff like that. Like, Genghis Khan was there. Like, Julius Caesar was there. Like, he crossed the Rubicon. Like, Julius Caesar was Alexander the Great. Like, he was fighting against the Persians. Like he wasn't just sitting back in an office saying, like, oh, here's where I want people to die. Like, just I mean, and that actually was, that didn't change until pretty recently, like a lot of
like Napoleon was out there. He was doing it.
Napoleon was out there. I mean, obviously, like George Washington was out there for a lot of, the pre-American Revolution or during American Revolution. Like, it's just a wild thing to think that, like, could you imagine, like, Donald Trump, riding a horse into battle?
In
the Gaza Strip.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's in a tank and just like kush, going in, telling people move here. They're setting up bases, and he's like moving around and stuff. It's like, no, it's wild.
Yeah. Like, we also haven't had, like, a military leader in a long time, which that used to be just the common thing, was that, like, your leader is your I mean, obviously, technically, our president is like the commander in chief, but, like, an actual military leader, like Eisenhower's pretty much like the last one. He's General Eisenhower of World War II and became president, pretty decent president. But, like, I mean, that's just not a thing anywhere anymore.
No, and I think it's less attractive. People are terrified of war. Like, I think post atom bomb, when war shifted from, a guy needs to, like, come to your house and shoot you or stab you or slash you, or, like, someone needs to come to you.
Face to face.
Right. When they're like, oh, we can, like, drop a thing or shoot a thing from fucking hundreds of thousands of miles away or whatever, and it just, like, blows and your whole town or city is evaporated, it became way less attractive to have people at the helm who were like, oh, this is what I do best, and this is what I'm interested in doing. It's like, no, we don't want that.
Yeah, it also makes, anytime you can disassociate, like, murder or death, I'm not going to say murder, but, like, the killing of another person, if you can disassociate it by not being there physically, it makes it a lot easier to do. There's, like, a psychopath test where it's, you ask someone, like, if there was 10 people stranded on a train that was about to fall, and one person standing next to you who's about to die.
Mm-hmm.
You could press a button and drop the train and this person lives. Would you do it? And 9 times out of 10 people say, yeah, I'd drop the train and kill the 10 people if it saves the person standing next to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's because you're not in that train with them. Like you don't see them. So like you can disassociate that, the distance. Right. And that makes it a little hairy.
Yeah.
Just so many of those stories are just like people just I think people were just way more badass back then. They kind of had to be, you know?
For sure.
Like the little amount of discomfort I have on my day-to-day life can't be good for me. I should be more uncomfortable.
It was probably pretty rare to have not killed a man. People probably had killed someone. Like by this time in my life, I probably would have killed some or multiple people, and not in like a weird, dark, I'm sneaking around corners and serial killing people. No, like it was a necessity or a requirement for like my country or for life. You had to kill somebody.
That is very true. Like you would, or at least had to have been in some sort of real hand-to-hand combat, like where there's real risk.
Yeah.
You know?
Or I would have like watched people die around me if I didn't personally kill someone. Yeah.
Have you ever seen a dead body?
No, I haven't seen a dead body. No.
Well, you could always change.
Yeah, it'll happen. It's on. I mean, it's not on the docket. I'm not like lining one up, but it's like it's inevitable. I would think.
Yeah. I've seen one from a distance, and boy, it's a weird thing to see.
Yeah, for sure.
What a way to bring things down. Sorry for that. But
it's all right. It's all right.
So I do have a few random questions for you that'll
for sure.
change it. So when you go on the road,
I
mean, I guess driving usually.
Usually flying. Usually
flying.
Like I used to be a lot of driving, but like my first run in like some of the Canadian cities was a lot of driving. I was a passenger princess though, didn't have a license, so like another comic would drive the whole thing, and I would do the music.
That's the spot to be in.
I had a couple where I was driving when I moved to the States, where I did like 4 shows in Ohio, and I would go like show. But now mostly it's just weekends and flying. So I fly to a city, I'm there for the whole weekend, and then I fly out.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, this will still be apropos. So, on a road trip, say like driving for any reason, you stop at a gas station.
Yeah.
What snacks do you get at said gas station? Like, say you get to have 1 drink, 2 snacks. What do you go
1 drink,
for?
2 snacks. The drink almost always water. You're just gonna go. Let's just stay hydrated. We're not doing anything too crazy.
Okay.
Maybe coffee if it's a coffee time. I'm a big Celsius guy as well, so like it could be a Celsius. Well, I know I'm getting all over the map. I'm getting other requirements, but it would be in that area. Snacks. So if I get 2 snacks, I'll give you 1 that would be my option if I'm eating clean, and 1 my option if I'm just like being a slut.
Slut's always the way to go.
Slut, yeah. It's like
ways,
some days it's like, but you don't want to eat because performing when you're like kind of feeling like shit. It's just rough. You're slow and everything. So you kind of
that's fair.
Usually try to keep it pretty clean when you're like on the road and touring.
Yeah.
But pistachios is like a go-to one for me because it's a good, clean, healthy fat. They got like good energy, and they're also I'm big on like trying to avoid those seed oils. So if you look at like almost every roasted nut is roasted in some type of seed oil. Pistachios usually are not. So I'll go for pistachios, and then if I'm gonna go for something dirty,
hit me with the dirty stuff here.
I'll go with like usually something like cakey. Like if they've got like like a Twinkie honey bun or a Twinkie, like something like that. Maybe they just have like a wrapped muffin or something at the counter. Like that's kind of, I like that. I like the texture. I like the sweetness. I like candy, but it's not going to be my first pick. Cakey is what I'm going to go for first for sure. Donuts. Damn. Yeah.
I'm with you 100%. I'm not a big candy person, like Skittles, stuff like that, not my thing. And I'm really not like a candy bar person. Not like a Reese's cup, just like anyone else,
Yeah.
But yeah, I go cakey, and then pistachios actually is mine too. I fucking love pistachios.
Pistachios are great. Yeah.
Oh man, pistachios are so good. But I do go soda. I go diet soda if I'm on the road. Yeah, if I'm on a little road trip.
Yeah.
Get a nice little Dr. Pepper. Something. Yeah. some medicine. But I mean, he was a doctor, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you sleep with the TV on or off?
Off. I'm usually TV off. If I'm going like full, trying to be as like healthy as possible, it'll be TV off. I'll have like a sleep mask on, mouth tape on, and yeah, that's usually
like a hostage.
Yeah, 100%. I'm like, it's not the smartest move if you're worried about someone like busting in. I like rain sounds sometimes. Rain sounds really like, like knock me the fuck out. I really like rain sounds when I'm hungover. There's something about like I'll be hungover and like feeling uncomfortable. They're like soothing and then put me to sleep.
Well, that's good.
But no, never TV on. Never TV on.
Yeah. Oh, I got to go TV on. I don't need my thoughts circling around in there too long. So yeah, I put on, South Park or something and just
some in the background.
Basically. Yeah. And I'm afraid of the dark, which is that'll never go away. I don't think there's no telling what's going on in there.
Spooky stuff's going on in there. People do spooky stuff in the dark all the time.
Amen. I mean, human beings are born to be afraid of the dark. Now, granted, it was because there was like lions and tigers and shit. Yeah. But there could be burglars and
other humans. I don't want to
other
humans in the dark. Yeah,
all kinds of rascals that up to no good, nefarious people. Yeah. Oh, who was your childhood celebrity crush?
Oh, Lucy Liu. Yeah, Lucy Liu was the first one. Yeah, I just saw she was in a show recently, actually, and I was like, oh, let's go. Yeah, that scene of her in Charlie's Angels where she's like in the all leather.
Yep.
I didn't even really know what was going on. I just was like, I couldn't even explain. I was like, I don't know why, but I like this so much.
Yes, plenty of those in my life as well. Lucy Liu's a fucking great one. Still insanely,
still hot, still
attractive. Jesus. Yeah. How old were you the first time you got drunk?
Like 14, I think.
Hell yeah.
When I was 14, it was like with some buddies, just like in a park or something like that. Yeah. No, that was the first time I got drunk.
You remember what it was that you were drinking?
I think it was rum. We were drinking rum, if I had to guess. Yeah. It was either rum or vodka. Those were like the two that were floating around a lot. Jaeger bombs got big when I was a kid too. That definitely wasn't the first one, but I remember Jaeger bombs were really popping off because that's when like Red Bull was like spawned in my high school time.
Yeah.
I remember that was a big. People got very scared because they were like, "Oh, it's good. Like you're gonna have a heart attack and die." It's like anytime there's something new, it's like video games are making kids violent. Energy drinks is gonna kill them. There's always
heavy metal will make you kill yourself.
Exactly, rock and roll is the devil's. There's always something that's killing the kids, and it makes sense. It's like, how do you, if you're going to fearmonger, it's like, how do you, if you're a parent, you're working all day, and then there's these new things that are arriving, and they're to your kids, they're like, whatever, this stuff exists. I don't care. It's an energy drink. But to a parent, you're like, I'm so afraid for your life. How do you justify not protecting your kid? Like you gotta protect your kid. And if the news is telling you that that if they play Grand Theft Auto they're gonna kill everyone around them and themselves, you go, no Grand Theft Auto.
And usually there is like one instance where you can kind of connect the dots, so then it becomes this is true real. This is real. Because there was a kid who killed himself listening to heavy metal, actually a couple of kids, but like
there had to have been a lot of other shit going on. There's
the one that I'm thinking of, there was a kid who shot himself listening to Ozzy Osbourne, and the news reports failed to mention that he had a bunch of cocaine on the record sleeve, or album sleeve that
might have been a factor.
Could have had something to do with it. Yeah.
No, there was a kid who died of a heart attack from drinking like too many Red Bulls or something and then playing soccer. And then so it's like, these things are your kid's gonna have a heart attack. Your kid is going to have a heart attack if they drink it. And I remember my buddy would drink like a case of Red Rave a week, and it was like, I think we're gonna be fine.
I used to drink so many. Like Monster was my go-to. I'd get the one with like the screw on top.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's like a shotgun shell going down your throat. Holy God. Yeah, I felt like John Belushi. Jesus. I kind of missed that. I mean, I don't do anything like that. But first time I got drunk, it was on tequila and whiskey. It was tequila and Jim Beam whiskey.
Damn.
So
together.
Mixing, but I swore I would never drink again, and then that lasted about 3 days, and then It's like, God damn, I guess the addiction's real.
Yeah.
But yeah. What's a game show you think you do best on?
Oh, a game show I think I do best on. Family Feud. I think Family Feud. Family Feud's one I watch where I go like, I think I would lock in on Family Feud for sure.
Yeah, especially the one at the end, whatever.
Where you got to like call stuff out there, like give us a food mascot, and I'd be like, like I don't know, like Tony the Tiger. Like, it's like like I think I think that's probably the one I could do the best on. At Jeopardy, I'm just not well versed enough in that many different subjects. Wheel of Fortune, I'm horrible at spelling. Horrible.
Well, they spell a lot of it for you.
They do spell a lot of it for you.
Letters.
But then then I think my brain, because I know I'm bad, so then I'm worried about being bad. So then as the word fills in, it's like, well, now if I fuck it up, I'm fully disabled. And so now I'm stressed about it, dude.
The worst is whenever somebody gets the whole thing filled in and they mispronounce it.
Yeah,
and they're like, no, and that's my worry. My worry is that I'd say it so confidently that I say it wrong.
Yeah,
and look like a real dipshit. Story of my life. But
that's no. I would not do Wheel of Fortune. What's like another like big game show right now? I don't know.
I mean, there's like there's like other ones like Survivor and shit like that. It's not necessarily game shows, but like. I think I'd do pretty well in Survivor if I didn't have to go without eating.
Yeah.
Although I would, I'd probably drop a few.
Survivor. I didn't think about Survivor. Survivor would be a good one. I think maybe Amazing Race I could do. Okay. I don't know if that's still going.
It is still going. They just don't do it like they do it once a year instead of twice a year. Okay, you got to bring another comic with you on Amazing Race. Who would you pick?
Another comic with me on Amazing Race? Probably Joe Rogan. He's going to be like the fittest, the fastest. He's going to be like, let's go.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be moving quick, dude. Competitive. That's a guy. Choice. That's the guy you want to bring.
Yeah. That's a good choice for sure. Yeah. God, I would not do well on that whatsoever. It's weird to me that you can just go to another country and drive.
Yeah. They're just like get in a car.
Like, how do you know that I would know how to do that there?
Yeah.
Like you got to have different rules, and like
just
I can't read the signs.
And they're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, like it's so weird. Like it's weird to think that I can go to Finland and just get into a car and drive. My God, that can't be good.
No,
but yeah. And then last question: what was your first concert?
First concert was it was Sean Paul, Wyclef Jean, and Akon. I was going for Wyclef Jean because I'm Haitian, and so he's like one of the few like before he had
Gone
his
till
scandal.
November.
Gone Till November. Great. Hips Don't Lie. And he there's stuff I think about still to this day that I didn't, because it's your first concert, you don't realize that like so many people do this. But Sean Paul didn't really put on much of a performance. He had like some dancers with him. He was the first guy out, and he would just kind of like shake his hips and then like do the same dance move over and over again.
Yeah,
I thought Wyclef Jean outshined Akon.
Oh yeah,
Wyclef Jean came out like when he was going to the stage. He walked through the whole crowd. He was wearing a luchador mask, and he had a robe on. And then and he walks the whole crowd, and everyone's it's him. He gets on stage, he takes off the luchador mask, everyone like starts screaming. Then he takes off his robe, and he's wearing a Luongo jersey, which at the time Luongo was like our guy, our hockey god in Vancouver, and everyone just starts losing it. And I didn't like, I see people do this all the time. That's like as someone who works as a performer, going to a place and then wearing something that connects to the people is like, that's a fucking standard move.
Right.
But I remember seeing that and going, that's crazy. And then he like rapped in English, French, and Spanish. He brought this lady on stage and he started playing the guitar with his teeth in her lap. Like he was like, had his face the guitar's in her lap and his face is like on top of it. Hypersexual. But like it was like, he just was like, he was a performer, dude. The dude awesome. Performed. Yeah,
Wyclef, that's a great one, man.
Yeah,
that's
Wyclef,
a good first concert.
Yeah.
Damn. And then actually last question, if you could see anyone in their prime, who would it be?
Anyone in their prime.
Yeah, if you could have, or they could be live, dead, doesn't matter. You're seeing them in their prime.
In their prime, alive or dead. I'm tossing around a couple people. I don't know who I want to pick. I'm tossing around. I'm thinking either Michael Jackson, Elvis, or Kanye. Those are kind of the ones that I'm seeing. Like, I would love, one of my dream concerts to go to now would be to go to a Kanye tour or Kanye concert where he has no ego about it, which I think that might be an impossible task for Kanye.
Yeah, good luck.
Like he's going to give you what he wants to give you. He's not going to be like, what would the fans like to see? But I would love to see a Kanye concert where it's literally just him doing banger after banger from each album. And like he has so many bangers, like so many. Dude. Like if you go you go all the way back to like the Graduation era and all that stuff, and like
College Dropout,
like those the bangers. Then Yeezus, there's tons of bangers. Life of Pablo, there's tons of bangers. We're like, you don't even have to touch my Twisted Dark Fantasy, which a bunch of people say is like his best and one of the best ever. Yeah, and you still have like. He could do every song from my Twisted Dark Fantasy. Then you go into like I'm the bipolar one. It sucks being bipolar or something like that. Or I'm bipolar. It's fucking awesome. Or by being bipolar sucks. It's fucking awesome. Whatever it was. And then you do like you get Ghost Town and Violent Crimes and like it's just like douche, douche, douche. Like it just, there's so much juice. And even the people didn't really like his gospel album, but I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah. He just knows how music works, which I know sounds dumb when you say it, but like he gets it. Like it's like, some people just can write music in a way like where you're like, oh, okay, this guy just, like, he's a music machine.
It makes me feel like I feel something. Like when I never went to church, so when I hear that gospel-y kind of stuff, it really resonates with me. I'm like, oh, this is powerful. It's new to me.
Dude, yes.
And so when I heard the song Selah, I immediately was like, I can't wait to run to this song. This is one of the best cardio songs I've ever heard. It's literally like, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Like it hypes you up so much, dude. Yeah. So yeah, maybe like, I don't even know if you can say Kanye in his prime, just my prime idea of Kanye.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's a great one. I think Prince would be high up there for me too. But Kanye is a great choice, man. That motherfucker is so good. Yeah, man. Dude, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Yeah,
I've had a blast talking with you.
Yeah, this is great.
Thank you. So before we go, plug, promote, where can people find you, all that good stuff.
For sure. Check out my podcast, Dark Holes. It's on all streaming platforms. It's basically just about me what I found doom scrolling that week. So I'm like, these are the weird things dark holes I fell into. Yeah. You can find me on all platforms at Che Durena. That's CHEDURENA. If you're listening to this 4 months after it came out or 3 months after it came out, my special will be up by now. You can probably find it somewhere. Just look for Che Durena special. But that's all recorded and being edited now, so that's going to be out sooner or later.